Man, this video is gold. I can't believe I'm giving this shit away. So as a DJ, okay, it's really important that you always play the best parts of each song to keep the energy moving and to control the energy on your dance floor. But how do you personally know the best places to mix in your new track? And let's say what happens, right, if you're mixing a track and there's just no obvious place to do a clean mix. Perhaps there's vocals on vocals the whole way through and there's just clashes everywhere you try. So in this video, I'm going to cover everything that you need to know to transition between tracks like a professional. So let's do this. No doubt the most common place for DJs to mix is to mix in after the chorus. Now, for those of you that are unaware, the chorus is the main part of the song and some people call it the drop, but technically the drop is the first beat of the chorus. I say this to my students all the time, and that is be careful of messing with the chorus. So respect the chorus, okay? Because let's say, okay, have you ever been to a club and all of a sudden this song comes on, maybe it's your favorite song and it's building up to go to the chorus, and then all of a sudden the DJ mixes out of that song before playing the chorus. They're not playing the main part of the song and they go into something else. And to be honest, it can kind of piss people off as it's not kind of playing the bit that everyone knows. And also another advantage of mixing in after the chorus is you do allow people to hear like the main part of the track. And usually when the chorus finishes, the track may actually drop off a little bit, maybe into a breakdown in the middle of the song. Or if you play the second half of the track, it will go into the outro where it kind of peels back and you get this nice clean platform to do a seamless mix. So in this video, I'm going to actually show you 3 main ways that you can mix in after the chorus. Firstly, I'm going to show you how to come in over the outro. Then I'm going to show you how to mix into the middle of the track. And then I'm going to show you how to do a quicker transition to avoid clashes or vocals on vocals. If you can do these 3 transitions, you're going to be as good as many of the DJs playing events worldwide. So let's jump in. Okay, so for this first mix, I think if you're starting out as a DJ, the safest place that you can mix and the best place that you can mix to actually start building your confidence and pull off really clean sounding transitions like pretty much straight away is to mix in over the outro. And the beauty of coming in over the outro is the song's not going to kick back in. At worst, the song will end. But here's the thing, how do you actually know where the chorus ends and where the outro starts? If you're using a controller and a computer, generally speaking, the waveforms are going to be bigger than when you're actually using club gear. And also the waveforms, you could have 3-band EQ, or you could have indications by color, where it goes into the beat and when the personality leaves the song. But here's the thing, when turning up to play in clubs, you don't always have colored waveforms. So this gear here has just got blue waveforms, and that's actually quite common. You might actually turn up and they've just got blue waveforms the whole way through. And blue just emphasizes bass, but it doesn't show you the personality. So I like preparing my students to play in clubs. Now, I know for a lot of beginners, the idea of playing in clubs seems like a long way off, but my goal is just to get you to a place, and all my students to a place where, you don't have to play in clubs, but you're confident enough to play in clubs if you want to. So anyway, I like showing you guys on club gear. It's good to kind of get used to club gear early. But in my course, I do a lot of it on the DDJ 400 and a lot of entry-level controllers, so you can get a feel, and I actually break down how to make the jump from controller to club. And the goal is really, is to make people club ready, or at least have the confidence to play live. But anyway, jumping in here, look at the waveform here. It's just blue the whole way through. So I don't know actually where the chorus ends and the outro starts. So to do that, what you can do is I can go in and just actually listen for it. So this here, there's still a lot going on there. I could mix on it, but generally speaking, I want to try and find a place in the song where it does drop off. So let's just keep looking. Okay, hear that? That there is the kind of thing that we're looking for. We're looking for somewhere where the personality leaves the song. There's a nice clean place to do our mix. So in that case, have a listen. So that's a bit busy to mix on. So I want to find a drop-off point. Bang, okay, and that's good. A lot of people might go then and put a cue point on where they want to mix. But here's the thing, if you hit play on your new song where you want to mix, kind of can be a little bit abrupt. Now, not only does it mean you're probably using sync, which by the way, there's nothing wrong with using sync. I realize it's a big part of modern day DJing, But again, I do like giving myself some time to beat match, and I enjoy beat matching. I think holding on to some of those old ways of DJing can really feel organic when you're playing. I think it's actually a lot of fun. But here's the thing, if I hit play where I'm mixing in, I'm beat matching out loud. You know what I mean? Or I'm actually mixing the beat matching, bringing it all in. It can kind of feel a little bit cluttered. So what I like to do, okay, I like to go and find where I want to mix. So in this case, where the chorus drops off, and then maybe set a cue point a phrase or two earlier, so 8 or 16 bars earlier, and which then gives me a little bit of time. Say I've got a cue point 16 bars before the end of the chorus. I can look at that cue as an indication of where to mix in my new song, hit play at that mix out cue, okay, and now I've got some time to beat match. I can mix in, tease it in over the end of the chorus, and then when the chorus finishes, I can swap my basses and my new song kicks in. And then over here, for your mix in cue, it's like, well, what do I want to mix in on the outro? Now, at the end of the day, when doing mix in cue, if you want to play it safe, you could just go put a cue point on the first beat of the song. But then again, sometimes with the deeper kinds of house, maybe you've got like a minute intro, or, you know, and if you're playing it from the first beat, it drops off and you could still be waiting for something to happen. So I think for your mix in cue, either put it on the first beat or go and find where it kicks in, you know, something happens, like where something begins to happen near the beginning of the song. Make sure it's the beginning of a phrase, set a cue point 16 bars earlier. And that means then as the chorus finishes, it drops off and something starts to happen on your incoming song. So let me give you an example of that. Okay, so I see my mix out cue there coming up, 16 bars before the end of the chorus. Okay, I've got some time to beat match. Okay, once I beat match, I'll reduce the EQ for the one I'm bringing in. I'll take the bass out halfway. Maybe I take the edges off these two. Start teasing in over the end of the chorus. And then when the chorus drops off, I'm going to work up the EQ, which allows me to come in underneath the song. So I swap the basses gently. This is my new one. Coming in, not taking too much of those, leaving that still in a little bit. And then I see my new song's about to kick in. Maybe a good time to fade that out to keep it clean. Okay, that's pretty easy actually, it's pretty good. Now just with the EQ, I do dive into full EQ training. I've got some really quality videos, probably the best out there in the world actually, on how to use the EQ and how you can look at the EQ in a way that's going to make sense and make you like really like a master of the EQ. But just quickly, I won't dive into it. This is not a full video on the EQ. This is more about transitions. But one thing I do notice when I see other people using the EQ on YouTube and just around is people really have there are a few different ways of doing it actually. There's lots of different ways of doing it. But let's say the EQ, it's about reducing the song you're bringing in so it comes in underneath. But then it's about getting your new one in and the other one out. But the big thing is, do you work up the EQ, like start swapping the basses first and build it in that way, which I think is great for coming in under the song. And I think that's really great for a beginner. Or do you actually work down, like start with these ones and then get to your bass last? I'm going to do one of those. Stick around. I'll work down. I think it does depend on what part of the song that you are mixing in. Do you want to come in under the song or do you want to make it a bit more punchy? So again, in my course, I'm sorry to plug the course, but it is my baby. I love it. And I've seen how much it's helped people. I'm getting rave reviews all the time. So yeah, sure, I'm plugging it because I love it and I love what it can do for you. But in that, it follows the perfect sequence and it does take you from being a complete beginner or having some experience to feeling really, really confident actually. And then, even how to get club shows and everything you need in the one course that follows the perfect sequence. But anyway, cool. So the goal is, so in this case, I'm just sort of like, I think for a beginner, working out the EQ is a really good method. So anyway, let's go do another outro one. So this one here, I've gone and found, actually I mixed on this outro. So I've gone and found where the outro starts, like where the chorus drops off, put a cue point 16 bars earlier. And for my song that's coming in here again, I've just sort of gone and, found, where something is and just gone back 16 bars from like an in point as well. So let's give that a go. I couldn't imagine not beat matching. I love it. I want to show you something quick though. This is a mistake that people make, okay? So I've given myself 8 bars to beat match, and I come in underneath. Okay, and I've got a nice beat there. But where people make a big mistake is they go for these big swaps with the basses. And all of a sudden, it can sometimes feel like the other song drops off completely. Let me show you. I'll go for a big swap. Okay, and it drops a lot. Personally, I don't think you have to go for these big swaps. You could just be like, do it gently. Just pull it, take it to where you think it sounds all right. It doesn't even have to go out the whole way. Be safe with it, be gentle. Beautiful. And that's just mixing over the outro. How long you're playing together for? You know, probably until your new song kicks in, or in this case, this song runs out anyway. Fade it out, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, but here's the problem with intro outro mixing. If you're always playing the full song, people can get bored. And what happens if you put on a song and it doesn't get the best response? And trust me, if you put on a song and let's say it's 7 minutes in length, and in the first minute people are looking bored, they're not responding to it. If you play the full 7 minutes of that song, you can lose epic energy on your dance floor. And honestly, that can be hard to recover from. Like, just people go for a drink, they go whatever, and you could kill the dance floor, which is going to hurt your chances of getting asked back for repeat shows. So honestly, if I'm doing mix out cues, I'd probably have at least 2. So that means in this case, let's say I'm mixing in after the chorus. There's probably 2 choruses in the song. Just go find where the outro is, put a cue point 16 bars earlier as one mix out if the song's going well and I want to play the full song. But then I might have another mix out in the middle of the song just in case I need to get out a little bit early, because maybe I just want to play less of the song, or maybe if the song's not getting the response, I can mix out quicker. So in this case here, the song here in the middle here, it drops off anyway. This is going to give us a nice, beautiful place to do a mix. Bang, drops off. I go find where it drops off. Again, put a cue point 16 bars earlier, and I can mix into that place. And quite often with a lot of genres, the second half of the song could be very similar to the first half anyway. So do people really need to hear it twice? Sometimes, mixing quicker is a great way to control energy. But now the question is, so I'm going to mix after that first chorus into the break there, but what part of my new song do I put into that bit? And again, it is up to you, what parts of each song you play, but a really solid way, especially when you're starting out, is to kind of match the structure of the song. So the song will probably go verse, chorus, verse. So why don't we go verse, chorus, and then the verse of our new song? And it kind of just makes it all seamless and flow beautifully. So I've just gone and found kind of where it kicks in here. There's also a little break, so it's going to kind of match beautifully. Put a cue point 16 bars earlier, and I'm just going to mix in over the end of that chorus into that break, into a bit that's kind of similar. And you'll just see it's an easy transition, but it's probably one of the most common transitions in the world. So let me show you. Oh. Okay, reduce my EQ. See, I'm teasing that. That's my new one. Okay, we'll work up the EQ again for now. Drops off. There's not a lot of bass there anyway, so it doesn't matter. There's a break. And this one, see, this one's dropped off to nothing. That's this song. That's my new one. And I just get this one out before it even kicks back in. And to be honest, simple, super, super effective. But there won't always be a break. Sometimes there'll be a beat. So let's do one of those now. So let's say in this case, I've got like a song, and okay, so this is like the main bit. People are dancing, it's cool. And then it drops off. Cool. Okay, and you'll see it's just a beat. But again, I can peel it back on the EQ, create a platform of sorts, and I can just mix in my new song. Again, what part of your new song, it's up to you. In this case, well, I've got like about a minute intro before the vocal kicks in, but I could just mix that in from the beginning. But in this case, I've gone and found where the vocal kicks in and put a cue point 16 bars earlier. So I'm just going to put, again, it'll go verse, chorus, verse, but it'll be verse, chorus, verse of my new song. So let's give that a go. I start coming in over the end, teasing it. And because the EQ's down, it's not, it's fine. It's teasing, it's coming. But I don't want to mess with the chorus. I'm not moving yet. I'm just going to go at the end of the chorus here. Drops off. But now, we're like, I do have to be careful of this song kicking back in. I could set a loop just to hold it. If I wanted to, it's a bit more advanced. If I could start halving the loop, create a bit of a build up. Add some echo. Oh, okay. To be honest, right, I'll wait for the drop. I like this, right? Okay. If you're just starting out, okay, with the looping there and that, I know a lot of people are doing that kind of stuff these days and you want to jump straight to it. But honestly, I think I would probably leave looping until your transitions are down. So what I'd be mastering is the 3 transitions I'm going to do in this. So this is the second one. So the first transition was, I would probably start, if I was a beginner, just mixing on the outro, get kind of a good feel for it, just kind of get used to mixing on the outro, kind of find songs that go well together, craft something and just do intro, outro mixing until you're kind of used to the mixing process and you're kind of feeling a bit more solid with your DJing. Then what I'd do is I'd mix into the middle of the song. But what you'll notice when mixing into the middle, it's a little different to mixing over the end because like I said before, when mixing on the end, at worst, the song's going to end. But when mixing into the middle, the song could kick back in. So at this point, what I'd do is I'd probably peel it back, the exiting on the EQ. And if you think it's kicking in, instead of looping, probably just fade it out with the volume fader before it does kick back in, okay? And it's not going to be completely clean, but again, in the course, I can clean it right up with advanced EQ methods. And then we go into what I'll be teaching you next once you've got your main transitions down, is then looping, adding effects and building on that. Where looping really is beneficial is, let's say you mix into a place in the song and the exiting song's gone into this perfect platform, it's sounding beautiful, but then all of a sudden it kicks back in, it starts getting messy, and it starts, sounding shit. Well, that's where looping could have come in because you basically can loop the part that's sounding good and prevent it from kicking in. And then you can kind of draw out your transition. And then if I've got a loop going, then I'm like, oh, can I halve it? Can I actually create a bit of a build up? Then you can add echo and you can really kind of take your mixing to another level. But again, looping effects, kind of like icing on a cake. And at this stage, I think you just need to make sure your cake is really tasty. That means really tasty transitions. And starting with mixing in after the chorus, great place for you guys. Okay, but now for the big one. What happens if, they're singing the whole way through, or maybe the chorus ends and it goes straight into something and all of a sudden it gets messy on messy? Let me give you an example of that. So again, I'm going to mix into the middle of the song. Let's pretend I've put this song on and maybe it didn't get the best response. Or I could just want to mix out, just want to just play like a minute of it and keep it moving. Anyway, either way, if it goes straight into vocals afterwards, and let's say this kicks in, it could be messy and then people get stuck. They're like, how do I mix out? How do I mix out? And what they do is they tend to play the full song. And like I said, if you put on the full song and it doesn't get the best response, well, then it could be detrimental to your dance floor. So I'll just show you like what it sounds like when you go and apply the way I've taught you so far to some transitions. It doesn't always work. So let me show you. Okay. Let's go from a swap like we have been. The chorus ends, and I've got, listen. I've got vocals on vocals and it's messy. So in that case, what we have to do when it kicks straight into something, okay, you just have to actually mix a little bit quicker and we have to actually get this song out before it goes into the verse. See, up until now, we'll come in over the end of the chorus and the chorus finishes. And then basically we do a swap and we play both together, which is really great if it goes into an outro where there's nothing happening, or if it goes into a break and there's a beat and there's not a lot of conflicting, like personality on personality. But when there's a lot going on both songs, I can't wait to the end of the chorus to mix. I have to move early on this song on the EQ and get this one out before the end of the chorus. But the thing is though, if you move too quickly on the EQ, you mess with the chorus. Now you got to keep in mind, people want to hear the whole chorus. So it really is kind of like coming over the end gently and kind of gently blending this out. So then by the time the chorus finishes, it blends out and then your new song kicks in. Now I did talk a little bit before about actually, do we work up the EQ and down the EQ? Up the EQ is kind of like coming in underneath, which is great. We still want to come in underneath, but I might work down the EQ in this case. So for a more punchy transition, I'm bringing my new song in. I'm bringing my new song in, but then maybe I'll start peeling back and just start peeling back the chorus. And then by the time this one kicks in, because I've worked down, it just comes in a little bit stronger. Again, I explained that a lot better in my course. But anyway, I'll show you what I mean. Go. Okay. So it's getting near the end. Start peeling it back gently. So I'm creating a bit of space. And I'm going to fade this one out. Okay. And see what I mean? It's actually out. Now there was a little bit of a vocal spill at the end of the chorus there. That like kind of a vocal came in right over the end. I could have got a little bit more aggressive had I known that with the mid here and just sort of rolled that out a bit further. But still, it did kind of fade out. And the goal, again, sometimes it's about approaching the goal of it. And the goal is hearing the chorus, but blending it back. So by the time the chorus finishes, this song's blended out nicely and you created space for your new song to come in. And this is going to work for anything really where they're singing like the whole way through, like could be hip hop, pop. This would be the way that I'd be mixing those genres. Anyway, what songs you play, how much of each song you play is completely up to you. DJing is so much fun. And honestly, I know from teaching a lot of beginners when they first start out, it can be really, really daunting. It's like, what's going on? So I honestly think starting by mixing in over the end of the chorus, giving yourself some time to mix in by setting a cue point earlier, coming in over the end of the chorus drops off, your new song comes in is great. But again, if you mix in over the end of the chorus and your old song kicks back in, well, then that last transition and moving a bit early on your EQ with the goal of to get it out right at the end of the chorus so your new song kicks in, that works really well. But with that last technique, I'd try and do it that then something on your new track should kick in as well. So meaning, you don't want to just like get that chorus out and then nothing happens. It's an intro. You want it to drop out and something happens here, like it kicks in, like, you go find something cool in the song, like a verse, put a cue point 16 bars earlier, come in over the end of the chorus, bang, it kicks. But anyway, watch this video again. This video, honestly, if you can do these 3 transitions and you're doing it comfortably and confidently, man, you are well on your way. And then we can start like looping, adding effects, really taking it to the next level. And if you do trust me to be your teacher, I have built what I honestly think is probably the most complete package. Like it just follows the perfect sequence. So every video is not like upsells and stuff. It's more like one course. Well, there's 3 courses that follow this sequence, but they all work in harmony with each other. Like they're really, I don't know, they've helped a lot of people and I'm really proud of them. So I'll put that link in the description. Hopefully trust me to be your teacher and hopefully you get a lot from the free content too. Okay, thanks guys. See ya, bye.